as you come on this show, as soon as you hit the note.
Hey everybody, it's your girl AM with No Friend the Podcast, and I'm here with C.R.U.S.H. There she goes.
That was my cue. I was coming back in.
You're good. You're good. So everybody, we got C.R.U.S.H., man. C.R.U.S.H. YourPoet. If y'all don't know, definitely a talented poet out here in the DFW. Well, not the DFW. Let me not do you like that. You know, today's topic is power of the tongue. When I say we have C.R.U.S.H. to discuss it, she is one of you're internationally ranked. You're the 15th ranked for women. And definitely want to thank you for coming here. I've definitely seen you do poetry. I haven't seen you at World Poetry Slam yet, but I know you showed out in 2022. I can't wait until it comes back around. I'm able to see you. That's a little brief summary. You introduce yourself to the people. Tell them what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is C.R.U.S.H. It's actually an acronym that stands for Creating Realities Using Spiritual Hands. I have been writing for about 3.5 years. Crazy enough, I entered this platform just on a whim, on some healings. You know, can I cuss on this show?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, on some healing shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was really just going to watch these poets perform, and I eventually got inspired to write myself. And then I got under the Dallas Poetry Slam team, which morphed me into a real poet. Candy is the head of the CEO of Dallas Poetry Slam and the team itself. And I know we're going to get into some, details about people that inspire me later, but the title 15th ranked, it's an international competition, Women of the World Poetry Slam. In 2020, I competed for my very first time, and I ranked. So basically, I ranked 15th in the nation on my very first time attempting to do so. And so that competition comes around every single year. This year, I actually didn't compete. I did just come back. But I was featuring. So that's the cool, that's the growth, right? So I initially started out competing, and this year they paid me to come out to Baltimore and perform at 2 different open mics during the festival. And then I hosted one of the events out there during the festival. So still definitely a part of it. I was just featuring this time as opposed to competing.
That's a level up because you got paid.
You know what I'm saying?
That's who don't like to get some money? Who don't like and then do what you love, making money. It's not just about the money part, but actually being able to do what you love. And how was the experience in Baltimore? How was the weather? How was it?
Well, okay, the experience was amazing. The weather was not as cold as I thought it was going to be, but the wind chill was hitting me a little harder than I expected. And whatever is in the wind had my allergies all jacked up. But the experience itself was amazing. The level of talent out there was crazy. So it's the last few years, the Poetry Slam, that Women of the World Poetry Slam has been here in Dallas. And while it's open, it's open to people come from all around the world, but everybody can't always come, right? So when they moved it, when it's in Baltimore this year, now I'm seeing people that I never saw, people that maybe weren't able to come out here. You know what I mean? And so it was crazy. The energy at WOWPS is always crazy. It's always a
A good
huge,
time.
yeah, like it's just a huge amount of people that's there for love and creativity, and it's cool.
Who
It's
was your
really
favorite poet? Like, did you able to be featured and you able to watch everyone go through? Who was your favorite?
okay. I don't have favorites. Uh,
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
but I do have I have a few like that I can name top notch, like, and I have relationships with quite a few of these poets, but like there's a woman named Lachelle the Shooter. She's out of Houston. Crazy. And I want to mention a couple of the new poets that I had never seen before.
Yeah, that's
Out
what,
of
that's what I wanted to ask. I want you to definitely spotlight the people that you saw.
Yeah, out of Baltimore, there's a young lady by the name of Keyma, Keyma,
Okay.
um, and another girl by the name of Destined. They and another one named Jalissa. They're all like in their early 20s.
Oh,
Crazy, crazy with the pen. Like just, I had an amazing time. It's very inspirational to be submerged in an entire festival full of
full
poets.
of
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah,
I
it
was
was dope.
saying, and you being from, so where are you? Where are you from? Are you from
I'm from
Dallas?
Dallas. Yeah.
Okay, so was that first time in Baltimore?
That was my second time in Baltimore. The first
Okay,
time I went for another poetry festival, which was actually an LGBTQ plus poetry
okay.
festival that they did for the first time out there. That was later last year.
Okay.
So it was my second time.
So, oh, it's good. It's good. I haven't been to Baltimore yet, so I'll make sure to look out for the wind, that
Man,
messing with
look,
your allergies and stuff. I don't want that
you
to
think it's
happen.
okay, and
Texas
then
already getting bad.
I'm telling you, you think it's
But
okay. That wind whip around and be like, oh, 30 degrees.
ooh, I can't do no. I don't do snow. There's a whole other thing. I don't really like snow. Me and snow don't get along. Uh,
Yeah,
but
thanks.
you mentioned that poetry. You just started writing 3 years ago, so poetry has not always been your passion. Like, what really? And you said it was a healing experience, but what would you say was like the defining moment when you kind of knew that it was your passion, that you were going to like go for it all the way?
The first time I got on stage. Um, and when I say that, I mean I was like, I had to get drunk first of all to get on the stage
I
because I'm
understand.
shy. I'm not a. I've come out of my shell a lot, but I have always been very quiet, very to myself. Never even imagined myself on a stage. Like I
Okay.
said, I wasn't even writing. It's just something about going to those poetry events week after week after week that got me. And I was going through something at the moment, right? So I was like, well, maybe I can try this as an outlet.
Yeah.
Um, First time I got on stage, I was shaking. I was reading out of a journal, and the energy that I got back from the audience after literally just reading my very first poem out of a journal, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like if I put my mind and energy to this is it. And once I got under Dallas Poetry Slam, I started taking workshops and putting all of my time and effort into it. I knew because my what I would call my beginning baby career shot like crazy.
Uh, yeah,
Like
'cause I thought you were always a part of it. I had no idea that you had just started doing it 3 years ago.
yeah, so it showed me that so art used to be my passion. I went to college with a fine arts degree. So I
Okay.
was always, graphics, drawing, painting, that was my passion, so I thought. But when I found poetry, it sparked a different type of passion in me. And that's when I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So you talked about crush. You
Mhm.
talked about what the acronym stands for. When did that become your stage name? I know that it wasn't always your stage name, of course, since you didn't. So when did that become your stage name, and and
Yeah.
why? Why crush?
That's it's a goofy ass story, man. But
We
um
got time. We got time.
it is. So the thing is, I have a very super, super common name. My first and last name is mad common. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this for real, I don't feel like I think it's too boring and too common to get on stage with this name with my government name. So I had to think of an acronym. I mean, I had to think of a name, a stage name. And I was just thinking about stuff I didn't know. My art business, my previous art business was called Crave My Design. So at first I was like, well, maybe I can call myself Crave. And I was like, oh, that don't really sound right.
Right.
And
Sound like a little stripper name. You
yeah,
know.
you know what I'm saying? I was trying to think of something, and no lie, this is so goofy. No lie, I was sitting at my best friend's house watching Finding Nemo with my godson, my best friend,
Okay.
and my godson's mom. And it's a turtle on there named Crush on Finding Nemo.
Oh,
The baby,
the one, yeah. Okay, yeah.
oh,
The baby.
totally, his name's Crush. So no, the baby's name is Squirt, but his dad's name is Crush. So
The main person, the main turtle that had him all on his
yeah,
back. Yeah.
exactly. Fun fact, I have always been obsessed with turtles, the real thing, and Ninja Turtles, right? So
Yeah, it's a funny
I
story.
saw I saw Crush, and I don't know what it was. That didn't have shit to do with me aside from that I like turtles. I
Yeah.
don't know why I picked that. I was like, that's kind of a cool name. And I was like, but it doesn't have anything to do with me. So I had to think about how could that truly relate to me. And that's when my godson's mom was like, you could make it an acronym. And so I sat for months
And try
trying
to
to
figure out
create
the
the
best.
proper acronym. Yeah. And that's how I came up with it. And then it just became all this other stuff. People be like, oh, you gonna crush it on stage. Oh, I got a crush on you. Oh, crush. And they just started doing all that stuff. So it just
So it became a monster. Everyone became a person of his own. But I do I think that's an interesting. Mine is kind of lame. Mine is just my initials. I ain't have time. I ain't have
I,
months. I wish I had months.
no, but when
I'm
I
impatient.
say AM, I think of like the beginning. Like AM is
Yeah.
like the rising of the sun. Like, you know what I'm
See,
saying? Like,
I like that better than what I normally get. I'm like, oh, AM, like the morning time. Look at them, like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Or the worst one, oh, you're AM, I'm PM. Like, okay, okay.
And I
Like
always think they
you
the
knew
first
how
one to
many
say
times.
they always think they're the first one to say it. That's the funny part.
Oh, wait, is this like you have to have known some other smart ass and thought that would be
Right.
a good thing to say. I was like only one person ever had thought of anything else. I had one teammate when I played ball in college that would literally sing "It's 4 a.m." and she would sing the whole verse every time she saw me. I'd be off
Oh,
campus somewhere. I could hear her
Melody
singing.
Fiona?
Yes, Melanie
Yeah.
Fiona. She will bust out Melanie Fiona's 4 a.m. and I'd be like, I already know what it is. Hey, Erica. I can see her. I hear her coming. I hear her coming.
Yeah.
Only one that had kind of a creative mind.
Right.
But you talked about how long you've been doing it, but like when it comes to poetry, what genre would you say you kind of write through? If there a particular one you kind of say your pen draws you to more.
Yeah. So initially I kind of just started writing about my feelings, but once I kind of got how you can turn stories into metaphors,
Mhm.
I really became more of a storyteller. And whether that I don't write a lot about like love or anything of that nature. I write more so about um like relatable topics, Black struggle. I have, some political things in there. I don't consider myself political per se, but the things that we live as Black people every day, there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You don't have no choice but to kind of be in that realm. Um, I have some LGBTQ material. I have some wordplay type things. I have some um motivational poems, which I'm probably going to do one of those for you later because that's more of like the power of the tongue kind of thing, manifestation and self
Yeah.
motivation. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of a mix. And to be honest, one time I'm trying to pull myself out of the erotic realm because
We oh why?
um, I got really heavy into that, not because it was something I had intended to step into, but I got hired to do an erotic open mic one time. Well, to feature at an erotic open mic. And the reaction of people to that poetry, it's one thing to talk about sex, I think, but another thing to wrap sex into metaphors and these huge like elaborations of the normal thing,
Yeah.
uh hyperbole of the act of sex in the way that people don't normally talk about it, I think is what and I'm telling you, I can do an entire set of like 6 poems and then one sex poem, and the one sex poem is all.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, that's what the audience, I always tell people, I'm not a sex poet, y'all are a sex audience. That's what I say to people because that's what they want. So I got wrapped into that very heavily for quite a while. It actually damn near became part of my brand. And I'm cool with it, but I do want to separate that piece from my brand itself. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place, to be honest. I try to tackle a lot of different topics so that I can also reach multiple audiences.
Yeah, I completely understand. You know, I'm not gonna. I'm a huge fan of not the sexual ones, but the one you have in regards to the. You don't hate me.
I don't.
I heard you say it multiple times. It's the one we're talking about, the badge and the cops and the oath. The oath. I can't remember the title of it. Can you tell me what's the title?
That was called Slave Patrol.
Slave Patrol. Okay, I could not think of it, but that is my favorite of yours.
You.
That I've seen you perform, just because of the meaning behind it. Again, being black, if you try not to be political, we are. Everything about our being, our whole essence of life. It because we bother so many people just by living, it kind of have to take a stand and be aware of everything. And you mentioned that you were going to bless us with a poem.
Mm-hmm.
You have a particular one that you're able to perform for us at this time.
Yeah, I'll give you 1.5. I'll give you.
Oh, I like 1.5. I think that's fair.
I'll give you. The first one I'll give you is it's a real short poem. These short poems is what I call crush quickies. Sometimes they are what you think. Sometimes today is not. Today, this is not erotic. This is just a quick poem. This is a wordplay poem. And then after that, I'll do the piece that I wrote for my own self-healing. And that one is more so on the topic of power of the tongue and how I use my words to heal myself, and, you know, looking in the mirror and doing that kind of mirror work and stuff like that. But the first poem, I'll go ahead and do that one for you. It's literally 60 seconds long. Let me get a little swig right quick.
Yeah, get your mouth wet. I feel that.
All right. There are many words in the English language that you can reverse, and they still make sense. For instance, if you reverse diaper, you get repaid, which actually makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? Because babies are expensive. Other words that were super ironic to the world we live in, like how we think the opposite of evil is supposed to be good, but really what an evil world we live in, where the mood is constantly set to doom, and the devil lived in gated communities where they keep their guns tucked snug inside their prejudice. They want us to worship their God while they treat us like dog. How in many religions, dog be God, but here, dog is meant to fetch and obey. It is a constant war, leaving our hearts raw, and I keep thinking, all we need is a little love in order to evolve. Now that one didn't work, did it? Maybe love isn't the answer. War it is. That's the end of that piece.
Okay. Yeah, and I see, and I definitely heard that one. I want to give you some snaps.
Thank you. Appreciate that. This next piece is a bit longer. It's kind of the standard 3.5 minute poem. Mm-hmm. But this poem is specifically I wrote for a healing event, and I have been able to use it many times ever since.
I'm going to solo you out for this one.
Okay, cool. This is called Reflections. I am love. I am strength. I am beauty. I am more than enough. I love you. 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 This is how I start my morning. wings. Before the fog settles in to consume the light on my road to self-acceptance, I step unshackled, foot in shower, ready to worship my naked. Rinse away the attempted invasion. You know, negative self-talk has its way of trying to take over. When I step out, positive affirmations shine high beams through the fog on the mirror. Breathe, blink twice. Unsee the demons others try to tattoo onto your skin, reflections of their own shadows. Unsee your father's distance. You, a mere mirage in his rearview mirror. He is not a ghost in which you see no reflection at all. And how do you piece together a broken heart? Meditation in the mirror. Close your eyes. Breathe in a white light of healing and forgiveness. Breathe out. Dark clouds of hurt and insecurities release. Now open your eyes. See yourself clearly. Their broken is not a reflection of you. It's just misery loves a shattered ego it can look at itself in. If I wasn't afraid of bad luck, I would have put my fist through that distorted mirror a long time ago. Kofi Doddsey says, black don't crack, but be the first to break. But I say we shall break the mold, break the stereotypes, break the generational curses, break self-hate. So I ingest the courage to put my fist through anything attempting to crack my black. Image of me molded for others' entertainment shatters at my fingertips. Self-destruction. They say in order to rebuild, you must first destroy. So I pick up my broken glass shards slicing through my palms. The need for outside acceptance posing as mahogany blood. I use those mahogany drops to paint myself healed, paint myself whole, paint myself home. Remind myself, I am love, I am strength, I am beauty, I am more than enough. I love you, 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 I love you. Thank you.
Yes, now that was deep. That was deep. So you said that you wrote that in regards to you healing. So it, when you say that it was like, I know healing takes time. Healing
Yeah,
isn't an overnight thing.
for
So
sure.
what is it about? What is it about writing that helped you heal?
It allowed me to express the things, to take the time and express the things thoroughly on paper, because I'm not a quick thinker. You're never gonna catch me freestyling or no shit like that. I'm not but I'm a very thorough thinker. I think things through, and so for me to be able to take my time and write about, I used to journal all the time anyways, but to be able to put those feelings into something creative and artistic and express it in that way, and then be able to share that with people, and people say, man, I needed to hear that, man, I'm going through the same thing, man, thank you, that, you know, that piece of it was healing in itself. This specific poem I was writing about how I helped myself heal, which was looking in the mirror, writing in my mirror, doing these out loud positive affirmations, talking to myself. That's literally how, in that situation, I was healing. Um, it something about being able to create something beautiful out of pain is a very healing aspect. Releasing those things
That
so
was
that
very
it's no
beautiful.
longer trapped in your mind, but you're just releasing.
Okay, so you just it helps you release it on paper, and then you share it. You know, I definitely appreciate you for sharing. That was very beautiful.
Thank you.
And Sean, if you missed that poem, man, it's okay. It's recorded. You can catch
It's
it later.
recorded.
You can catch it later, Sean. But you definitely good evening to you too. But you know, speaking of healing and all that, we're going to get to the topic, which is power of the tongue. And I'm happy you joined me for this topic. It's very important to talk about how not only the positive, but also people speak negative into their life so much, and that we allow other people's words to affect us as well, and the lasting effects of it. As you talk about like being able to personally, I try to always see the brighter side of things. I try to always speak positive, claim. I call it claiming. I like to claim positive things in my life.
Yeah.
I like to say that I'm going to speak the positive, so that way, it helps me mentally to speak the positive. Even the negative happen, it helped me mentally to speak the positive. Do you think that if you didn't have poetry, or you didn't have a way to write out like how you were feeling, you would be able to be healed like you are?
I mean, I'm sure I would have found something. I was healing. It was just a catalyst for it, and it was um, something that I found passion and purpose in. So, like, it's one thing to heal from a certain situation. It's another thing to find your purpose in it. And I'm using the word purpose as opposed to passion, because passion, that's one thing. Passion is an emotion, right?
Mhm.
Purpose is like, this is what you were put here for. This is what you can use your gift for to heal other people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not just healing yourself, you can heal other people with this gift. And that's a whole nother type of self-healing when you find the purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So I may have found, like, I was healing through the things I just said in the poem, which was positive affirmations, watching motivational videos, just getting my life together. I was healing, but poetry was a catalyst. It helped it move along quicker, and it was a deeper healing, and it helped it that finding purpose is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. And when you talk about speaking affirmations, that's really important. That's part of power of the tongue, like waking up and just telling yourself like it's going to be a good day.
Mhm.
I love myself. I look good today. I feel good. I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah.
I think more people should wake up with the power of tongue and the positive, more affirmations, more of self love and self reflection. Than I think that compact a lot of verbal abuse. I know
Yeah.
in the Black community, not there are definitely some just some generational curses about
Yeah.
how Black people sometimes speak to their children and speak to each other, and also speak about themselves.
Right.
I think that it has some lasting effects on people. I know there definitely some things that I've been like dumb, stupid, like certain words that like stick that have stuck with me when I was a kid. Now I realize like as an adult that isn't who I am. That's not who I am. That's not who I'm going to be. And I had to get past that. And this, like I said, I found this as an outlet. This is what makes me feel complete. Talking to people. I love talking to people. And I always want to be a positive voice. Like I love having people on my show. I love having you, and I definitely appreciate you coming on. Do you, grew up in Dallas? Do you think that you've experienced any verbal abuse, not even from like friends or family, just like we talked about us being Black? Any verbal abuse that you feel like maybe when you were younger kind of stuck with you more than it should have?
Um, yeah, I don't know if it was specific words that were used over and over again necessarily.
Mhm.
Um, I think there were maybe scenarios that took chops at my confidence,
Mm.
that had a lasting effect. Um, and sometimes it's not even saying like, okay, sometimes it's not literally saying you ain't shit or you ain't gonna never be shit. Mama ain't gonna be shit. You know how people do all that. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not literally saying those words. Sometimes it's the action in which family members, the people around you, treat you into like in a fashion as if you can't do things for yourself, as if you're not
Mhm.
capable, right?
Yeah.
Um,
They
and
call
when
it
people,
babying, but it's
yeah,
deeper than babying. It's deeper
and
than
you
that.
they if pushing that type of you are not capable by yourself, um, that sticks with you. It literally just came out today, and I won't give a specific, but it literally just came out. It comes out still. Sometimes, interacting with people, um, with family, and it's like, why are you talking to me like that? Why do you truly think at this age, I am 36 right now, you really think I'm not capable? And it's sometimes it's simple shit, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you don't think I'm capable of that, then you don't think I'm capable of anything, really. That
Yeah.
type of thing. So for me, I think it's been not necessarily specific words. It has been an action of saying things in a way to say like, I
In a
don't,
certain way.
yeah,
People, yeah, it's tone. I think a lot of things people don't realize tone speaks volume. I say my like hurt people, and
yeah,
you doing it, and the tone in people's wording, and the tone of people the way they speak, that says a lot. And I'm a person about tone. I'm a very mellow tone. I'm very chill. If I
yeah,
raise my voice, I'm upset.
right,
If
right,
my tone change, I'm upset. But
yeah,
and I can tell when someone's talking to me, their tone is a way. Even though you're trying to say something, you're saying it in a way that you're trying to hurt my feelings, but you're saying it where it doesn't, where you're trying not to come off like that. But I can
yeah,
tell because you're using your words, using your power of your tongue to hurt me because you're hurt, because you have things that you haven't done. And I think
right,
in the community, in the Black community, a lot of the older generation uses their words to, as you said, put down. Like say you're not capable because I wasn't capable. What they're really saying,
yeah,
I wasn't able to do it, so why can't you do it?
right.
Um, and it can be. I'm happy you realize, like, yeah, we get to an age is like, I've made it this far. I've done what I've done this far. What you
Yeah,
mean? I can't.
I'm
It's
good.
like, Mom, I see you listening, but you always say about my tattoos, but and about jobs. I still got a job and I'm still getting tattoos.
Yeah,
Things, it's something I love, but I'm still able to make a living. It
right.
doesn't hurt anyone. And I think for me, I think the way people can realize it is just by asking the people that they talk to, like, because I don't know if you were in face to face this person, but I make facial expressions.
Yeah,
I read facial expressions. So when I say something to someone and I know that it's hurt, like I can tell in their face it's hurt them, I ask like, are you okay? Like, did I say something wrong? People realize like power of the tongue is being able to hurt and heal. It can be either way.
yeah,
Like your words heal. Like you have very powerful speech. Like someone can hear you and feel motivated to give themselves daily affirmations and to wake up and know that they're loved and to feel motivated. I know you have Monday motivation, like simple things that give people like bring brightness to someone's life. And then you have someone on the other side that is just being harsh and their tone is so vicious and
yeah.
I personally combat it by trying to do the positive outlet. But if what would be some ways you would think that someone would be able to use a powerful tongue to combat some of those negative aspects?
I think that I won't say none of us, but like 95% of us have never been taught to properly communicate in a way that is beneficial to both parties, and being able to openly express what you feel, how you feel, what you think, without there being any type of defensive energy.
Mm.
Um, and I think clear communication has to be the first thing that we learn as a people. Um, and that can be just as simple as saying like, I'll give you a general example, but it did happen to me. I'm just going to be general about it though. But
Yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna ask you a question. I didn't ask you a question about it.
yeah,
Yeah. I get it.
but there are certain things that I'm into spiritually, right?
Mm.
And everybody doesn't understand that. It's okay. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes when I talk about it, I get this tone back that's like, oh, or like, oh, okay, that's dumb, that's weird, that's that kind of thing. And I had to openly say one day, like, maybe you should, I think maybe you should do some research on these things that I'm talking to you about. That way you can kind of see what it really is and where it's coming from. And their response to me was like, well, what? Why? And I said, well, because
Development.
every time I bring it up, you have this like negative connotation in how you respond to me about it. And sometimes people don't realize that they're doing that, right? Like
Yeah, I
their
agree.
response was just like, oh, well, I was really just responding because I don't know anything about it, or because, something like that. And I was like, well, that's not how it comes off. You know what I mean? It comes off very condescending. And but they switched it around immediately once they realized they made that's how they were making me feel. Sometimes people don't even realize it. They're on autopilot. They have these automatic reactions to whatever because they don't, ignorance is, people are scared of what they don't know, that kind of thing. And people just respond. So for me, to combat those kind of things, I think first we have to learn to, one, not take things personally.
Yeah.
Two, because you don't know why they responded in that way. So two, the next step being, okay, ask a question, like, or present some type of solution. Like, well, maybe we could talk a little bit differently about this, or why do you respond in that way? What makes you feel that way about what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, and let them respond. But then also, after they tell you that, you have to still let them know how it makes you feel.
That's the most
Because
important thing.
yeah, because people are attached to emotions and things of that nature, feelings. And so if they think it's not a big deal, then they're probably going to do it again. But if you tell them, like, no, that really kind of hurts me, or that makes me feel a certain way. And if they care about you, they'll probably, they'll at least make some type of effort,
And I used to have no filter until I realized the people that I was around didn't want to be around me, because I was saying things that I just thought were, oh, that's the truth. But realizing that truth can hurt if you say it in a certain way. It is about how you say certain things. Like, I can't give an example because I always be reckless with my friends. Like, I used to say, if anything came through in my mind, it was coming out of my mouth. I didn't care. And I say I had a realistic view of life, which I'll say I still do now. I'm getting back more of a realistic and less like fantasize, but I was really harsh. But life was harsh. I feel like life is hard. So I'm just telling it to you hard. I'm just giving it to you straight. But I realized that as an adult and growing up and realizing that, I wouldn't say it to a kid a certain way. I wouldn't say it to a kid in a hurtful way. Every interaction we have should be informative.
Yeah.
It should be back and forth in a way that allows that person to feel welcome enough to say something back. Like simple, but you just saying you should do research. They probably did do it. They're like, oh, I never thought about that. But because you weren't being defensive, as you said, you didn't take it to heart. You were just like, maybe this person just doesn't know what I'm referring to. They don't understand it completely. And they should just look into it so that way they do know. So that way, if it comes up again, they may have a question or they can add to the conversation. They can add value to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like that. I think that's the best part of, I think, power of the tongue is just speaking to people how we want to be spoken to, and then being open and not being defensive, which I'm working on not being defensive. Sometimes it's hard. I'm God's still working on me. Certain things I'd be like, what you mean? Like someone called me sensitive and I was holding on to that forever. Like, I'm sensitive? Like, how I'm sensitive? Like,
but look how you took it. Like, well, maybe
I took it. I was like, well, maybe I am a little sensitive.
Yeah, it's okay. And that's okay.
But
because
also
people,
go ahead.
Yeah. So, and it's funny that you say that because I'm a very emotional person also. But I tend to hide it from a lot of people. There's sometimes I can't hide it, but for the most part, I don't put myself in situations where my emotion can be seen by the masses, because sensitivity and emotion is painted to be such a negative thing. It's painted as weakness. You know what I mean? People aren't attracted to it. It's you get rejected a lot because of being too emotional, too sensitive.
Being a more masculine presenting woman is definitely like, why are you so sensitive? It's like, I have feelings. I hurt. Like, I want to tell you that I hurt. Like, I'm not being necessarily emotional, or women. Yes, but women are emotional creatures, but everyone is. A man is too.
Yeah.
You're human beings. Even animals are emotional creatures. Like, everyone has an ability to hurt and to be happy. And it is definitely looked at in the lesbian community from a lot of people. A lot of people that if a more masculine presenting female is emotional, then she is weak. She is I'm gonna say weak. I'm gonna stick with that nice wording of weak. And it's sad. It is so sad
And it's harmful because then we begin to cover up our true selves.
Yeah.
You know?
I never,
So
starting to give a fuck. I started to give a fuck. I started, I'm being emotional. I'm not gonna give a fuck then. Does that feel better? Like me not caring at all. And then that becomes a problem. It was like you can't win either way when you don't let. You can't win when you're hiding your emotions. You can't win when you let them out around the wrong people. I'm gonna say that too. Though. You gotta also surround yourself with the right people. And I had to. Hey, you're there. I had to. I'm at the point where I have to speak everything I feel. I have to, if I'm feeling something, I now have learned that I have to let it out. And with people that weren't adding any positive energy, anything positive to my life, not saying there be any negative, because I don't want to, if you are watching, not that anyone being negative, it just sometimes people aren't meant to be in your life. And I'm at the age where I can't do gray areas. And I've been having to have very difficult conversations. Yeah, I've had to do very difficult conversations with people. And I was like, you can't be in my life because you're a gray area.
Yeah.
I don't know where you fit. And because that isn't good for me, I just can't do it. And I actually had someone take the feedback extremely well. And it boosted my confidence. We had an open conversation. They understood where I came from. And I felt power in it because I was able to speak my truth and they understand it, even though it wasn't maybe something they wanted. They understood it and I appreciated it. This is from Nisi J. It seems like people only want you when they need something from you, not just to be around you. I agree. Sometimes people can do that. Hopefully, it isn't always. There are some times when there should be people in your life that want to be around you just because they like your energy. They like the things you talk about and you do.
That is when you begin to rebuild your circle. Sometimes you have to break. Like you said, you had to let go of some people, or whether it's that they're not adding anything to you, whether they are depleting you, but you should definitely have a circle in which you can pour into each other. You can grow together. You can build with each other. There should be some type of growth within a circle. You should be able to contribute positively to your friend's life and vice versa. It shouldn't just be, we're past the age where we can just hang out with people because they fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
If we can only, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this comment. It's a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. But no, you're right. You reach the age where you have those connections that were only for like I when I was younger, I had club friends.
you're right.
I hit their friends up to just go to the club. I still go out, yes, but I go out with the friends that I can do everything else with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we all reach that point where I think you get to age where you also realize the power of your tongue and you want to use it to the full length of it. And I'm at the point where I only want to speak positive in my life and people around my life. And if anything that is, my word this year is a great area. If you are in a great area, they have to be gone. They have to be gone. No matter what, it is what it is. But getting back to you though, Crush, like just getting back to you and just everything that you are bringing to the world. Because you bring a lot to the community. You do a lot. You host the different events here. And we talked about it a little bit earlier. Before you started hosting events and being actually into the scene, what would you say? Who was a poet that inspired you?
There's a few. When I was first coming into the poetry world, Wayne Henry was a very influential for me. He's an amazing writer. He's just a really good dude in general. You have conversations with that man and you're like, I don't know where your mind went, but it was genius. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation with someone and it's just like, wow, like, I don't know how we just came up with all that shit, but this was an incredible conversation. That's him. And it shows in his writing. Another poet, Ebony Stewart, is she's out of Houston. She is a mental health advocate. she's an amazing poet. She uses her poetry. She was a teacher before. She's now full-time poet. She speaks at colleges and all kind of things. But she uses her poetry as healing and as education, and to be a mental health advocate. And she truly lives that life. She is truly checking on people all the time, making sure people's mentals are in order and things of that nature. So for her aspect, it was like, that's so inspirational how you can truly use your words to help heal and educate the masses, because she has a huge following, you know. So Wayne Henry for like incredible thought processes, Ebony Stewart for showing me how to help and heal people with my words. And I would say like, so there's different people in different aspects, right? Because there's so many, it's not just like, oh, you write poetry and that's it. Like, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So you have like, and a lot of people know like Rudy Francisco. Rudy Francisco showed me how to be like, he showed me how important image is. He's like the boy next door, so he can get in everywhere, right? Like how you present yourself is the difference in staying local or being able to be international and being able to be on Jimmy Kimmel. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And then I have like, I'll say Black Chakra. Black Chakra is from Baltimore. He inspires me in the way he writes. He's very bar heavy, very rap battle style. But the way he pushes the limits of words and how he wraps them around each other is crazy. So I'll say those 4 people as poets themselves. And then Candy, who is the CEO of Dallas Poetry Slam, she's more so who I grew under as a poet. So she was like the mentor who showed me like, you know, how to be a poet in general. She gave me the tools I needed to make myself a poet. So
I was like, have you mentioned? I say I do love Candy. Yeah, shout out to Dallas Poetry Slam and Candy. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I've been going to Dallas Poetry Slam for years now, and Candy is definitely Candy is amazing. Candy is very sweet. Candy is welcoming. She's very welcoming. Like I felt so weird going. Like I went by myself the first time. I felt awkward, but Candy is very open and very welcoming, and I definitely do. I shout out to Candy.
Yeah, for sure.
We love Candy.
Sure. We do.
You mentioned rap, like how he raps word around. Do you feel like rap? I feel like music in general, like artistry, like people that write songs or poetry. Do you feel like it's kind of interchangeable?
Yes, rap. The acronym for rap is literally rhythm and poetry. I mean, it's they're intertwined. Writing. I think that poetry is normally looked at in a more softer storytelling way. And rap, because it's attached to music, has to be capturing anything. Music is the all out, above and beyond, most influential thing to connect people and capture people's emotions.
Yeah.
I don't know of any art form that can capture people the way that music can.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that poets, the secret to poetry being able to get out to the masses is to put it into music.
Yeah. Now, do you think that it's like that now? I mean, in the sense of, yes, Sean, yes, rap is rhythm and poetry is. But do you think a lot of artists now in this generation use poetry, or maybe should use poetry in the art form more?
Should, yes. Because sometimes I feel like the other day I said, dang, I done became that person, that old person that's like, I don't know what they saying in that song. You know, our parents used to say, I don't know.
All the time.
But I would say we do have some. We have a few that are very prevalent in their use of poetry. That would be like Kendrick Lamar. That would be like J. Cole. You know what I mean? And even Wale, definitely.
Yeah,
You know,
I went to his concert recently. That's still on my mind.
I was there.
The man is, and it was great.
Yeah.
Well, I say that he is a poet because you in the crowd, a few songs people could not actually give back to him because of his wordplay.
Mm,
That he's one of those rappers that he says things in a certain way that
yeah.
is poetry. His metaphors is poetry. Like his everything he does is it flows.
Mhm.
But he isn't as big as some of the other artists that should be looking
Yeah.
more into the poetry that we don't know what they're saying.
Right.
But I'm sorry, yeah, I'm
Okay.
that
I want
person
to
too.
mention one more person because we're talking about rap.
Mhm.
But in the R&B world, I don't know if you've ever really intricately listened to Miguel's lyrics,
Oh,
but
Miguel,
Miguel is an incredible writer. Like,
yeah,
if you really just pick apart his lyrics and his songs, sometimes you don't hear it because of the way he sings and the way he, kind of meshes things together. But if you really sit down and look at his lyrics, he's a great writer.
see, I like Mariah the Scientist. I like her wording. Like I go through and I listen. I read her lyrics
Hmm.
because she has those type of poetry aspect in her music. I don't know if she writes hers. I don't know if she does.
Hmm.
Yeah, Lisa, yeah, she nice. But I don't know if if she writes hers. But whoever does definitely take aspects from it. Like she had the song Self Destruct where she actually is singing the actual word. She isn't saying it, she's actually spelling the word. And it flows and she has words that go under it. It
Hmm.
just I enjoy. I think of course R&B. I think of course R&B really embodies poetry. I
Yeah.
think I write and I'm in a drought right now and I'm trying to get out of it.
It has.
I'm
It
in a
has.
drought and I've been in a drought for a while and I'm trying to get out of it. But I before I wrote to music, I just wrote. I wrote how I felt, I wrote what I was feeling, and then I ventured from there. And then I'm getting into music, and now I haven't wrote in a while, but I'm getting my love back by hearing others, and I'm coming back to poetry often, so that way it gives me some inspiration because I've been
Yes.
needing it. I've been needing
Absolutely.
it. You might catch me Friday because I know y'all saw me see you post. I'm like, am I gonna come? Am I gonna go? I'm
Yeah.
debating. I don't want to promise.
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
Fluid
try.
Friday this Friday. I'm
I
hosting. It's
know
Fluid Friday.
it is Fluid Friday. It is Fluid Friday. Thank you, friend. I'm gonna try to get back to it. It is, and then speaking of Fluid Friday, you gotta shout out to your shirt. You gotta read the shirt.
Yeah.
People that don't know, you gotta read the shirt, man. So read the shirt and I know this off the wall, but please explain the shirt for everyone that does not know what it means.
Okay, so this is my tagline. This is copywritten. Don't y'all try to take. Sexuality is sexuality is fluid. Swallow it. Now, the swallow it part is obviously wordplay because I just said sexuality is fluid. But sexuality is fluid really for me means that sexuality is an energy. To me, it's an energy. It's not I'm attracted to women only. I'm attracted to men only. Don't nobody else talk to me. Sexuality is you can be attracted to different types of people. You can be attracted to different energies, whether it's masculine or feminine. Um, Now, does that actually mean you want to get into bed and have sex with them all the time? No, it doesn't. But it means you have some type of attraction to them. And you have people. I have friends that are pansexual that don't care
Mhm.
about gender. It's who they connect with spiritually and intelligent and intellect. And it's just like, you've got sapiosexual. You've got all these things that are not really tied to gender itself.
Yeah,
Um, and so for me, I sometimes I have energy attractions to male counterparts. I don't want to get in the bed with a man. I'm not
yeah,
attracted to them in that way, right? But there are people that are romantically attracted to both sexes, and
yeah,
especially in the queer community, where we a lot of people used to be in the bisexual realm. They used to put themselves there because they liked both, but people talked about them so much. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Everybody ragged on bisexuals. Oh, you can't like both, blah. But why not? Like,
yeah. I think
it just
everybody
don't
gay.
just be truthful about it. Is my thing.
Yeah. How I
Don't be
describe is
oh,
everybody gay. I'm
yeah,
like everybody gay. Like no, what that is, anyone can you can literally fall in love with anyone. That's why
yeah.
I'm ignorant, so my definition of everybody gay, everybody true, because it's the truth. It is
Yeah.
like my Nisi said. I have said sexuality is fluid. swallow. She's heard me say that because I like your shows.
Okay.
But it
Thank you.
really
That's an
is.
honor.
Everybody gay, everybody straight. It doesn't matter. Love is love. Energy transfers, a connection, a bond. I don't personally believe in soul ties, but I don't knock anyone for having a soul tie.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. You can have a soul tie to someone that you never will ever have like sexual connection with, but that person will always be a part of you. Always have a hold on you. It can be positive, or hopefully positive. We're gonna see what positive.
Yeah, let's stick there.
Positive. They have a positive outlook on you. And you want to be tied to them forever because of that connection you have with them. But I love your tagline. It's definitely great. No one can steal it, as you heard her say. It's copyright paper. She was sued, and I was supported, and this is evidence. And she told you this.
But you can get a hoodie or a T-shirt if you want it.
Right there, you go. There you go. You better plug yourself in, girl.
Yeah, they are on my website. My Instagram is at @crush_YourPoet.
I got you, girl. I got you. Hold on, let me see. Where is it? Give me 1 second. I got you. Just keep going with it, and I got you.
You got all this fancy stuff. I saw that thing for the power of the tongue scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah. I be trying. And I thought I had this up here, but it's okay because now I got it for you.
Now we in there. And there's a link in my bio. Boom. Thank you. The link in my bio is to my website where you can get T-shirts, hoodies. I got manifestation water bottles like this. This is what I've been drinking out of. I use, you get a wet erase marker with this. It says water tastes better when you're manifesting. Yeah. And so you basically write your affirmations on here for the day, for the week, whatever. Pour your drink in here. To me, it's like physically pouring your manifestations into your body. I sell herbal teas. Y'all, I got everything. Just go to my website.
Oh, she does say. And not just that, but will you have a table this Friday?
Yes. Well, yes, I will have a table. I am hosting, so I won't be at the table selling until after the show. But yes, I will have my merchandise at the show.
So, we're gonna plug you in. I have one last question. So okay. We're talking about the power of the tongue. We're talking about being Black. Why is Black poetry so important? Why would you say Black poetry is so important?
Because our stories need to be told and heard. There is so much. I'll say this: people use poetry as therapy, especially in the Black community, because we have such a culture of we don't talk about that in this house or keep our family secrets a secret. You know what I mean? There's a lot of trauma in the Black community, a lot. And that most people don't have anybody they can talk to about it. And poetry is very therapeutic, like I said, to be able to get those kind of things out. It is not I guess it's not a replacement for actual therapy, but it is, you know what I mean? People have thoughts about that, but it is therapeutic, and it is an outlet to be able to, one, get it off of you in some form or fashion. Also to be able to let other people know that they're not the only ones going through this. People connect with these stories. Black poetry, and it's so crazy. I put this in a poem the other day. Black poetry has never been about like painting pretty pictures about clouds and flowers and shit like that. And it's cool. When people think about poetry, most of the time they think about Shakespeare, or they think about like, just this real soft, pretty, that's
rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's all fine and dandy. Some people just write to practice different type of writing styles and forms of writing. But there are real, like for real stories in this poetry, in Black poetry. And sometimes a lot of people will never know. And it's not just important for our own community to hear and feel and relate to these things. It's very important for people outside of our community to hear how the world affects us from a personal standpoint. Yeah. It's one thing to see things on the news. It's a whole nother thing to be a white person and hear your Black friend pouring out rage or pain or whatever the case may be, from a personal standpoint, it's the feeling is different.
Yeah.
And
You have
people
to
need to
educate.
know stories. You know
You
what I
have to
mean?
educate. It's like firsthand education.
Exactly.
For anyone outside, like anyone outside the race, I think you said it helps them relate in
Yeah.
a way that makes them feel comfortable relating.
Mhm.
But as I said, I'm gonna let you plug yourself, man. So for this last 2 minutes, I already got your IG there. But any upcoming events, anything anyone you want people to know about yourself, anything, go ahead and plug yourself, man.
Yes. So Instagram is there. You can find my other Instagram pages from that main page. Like I say, I sell herbal tea as well. You can get my clothing line. You can also follow the Fluid Fridays page, which is Fluid Fridays open mic. That's the next event I have coming up this Friday. It is at Chocolate Lounge exclusive. There are flyers up. And there is a highlight on my main IG page. You know, the little circle highlight things on the profile.
Yeah.
There's one called events, and that has all my upcoming events listed. But so you can get all the addresses and ticket links and things like that. But this Friday is Fluid Friday. It's a LGBTQ open mic. It is open to everybody. We always have a lot of allies and straight people that come as well, but it's just geared towards our community. And then after that, I'm also hosting another event called Passing the Word, which is with De Facto Books. De Facto Books is a group that basically specializes in getting literature and connections to men of color that are incarcerated. And so we read these stories that are prevalent, and we have a book club. So the book club that we just finished, we every time we end a book club, we have a show to follow. So I'm hosting that. It's going to be poetry and music, vendors. It's at the Wild Detectives bookstore. Super vibey. That's April 23rd. So those are the most recent upcoming things. But I'm always somewhere. Like I'm somewhere every week.
Yeah, booked and busy. I like having guests that be booked and busy. That mean y'all care about me. But y'all took time out your schedule.
Hey, I
Good old me.
appreciate you having me. For real, I love these kind of discussions.
Oh no, I definitely appreciate it, man. Again, follow her on IG. You all see it is at the bottom. For those of I realize this is recorded. For those of you listening to the podcast, it is crush underscore your poet. And you follow her on the IG and you say you have access to her basically. You have access to her merch, you have access to upcoming events, you'll be able to see everything she has going. So that way you can support, you can show love. She's definitely someone to show love to. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna come Friday. I'm gonna come
Yeah.
Friday. And I have someone have a question. Have you ever thought about reaching out to juvenile incarcerated? Just real quick.
Yeah. I won't say it hasn't crossed my mind. There are a lot of ins and outs to getting into the prison system or to the justice system and people that are behind that. De Facto Books has done a really great job of getting into the adult prisons. I don't know if they plan on getting into juvenile detention centers themselves, but I do know this summer we are having a program for the youth that have family members that are incarcerated. So they themselves won't be incarcerated, but it's a youth program. So I don't know, down the line they may decide to try to branch into some juvenile centers as well. And if you have any suggestions, please feel free to send those to
I was
me.
gonna say, Nisi, reach out to her. It's my friend Nisi. She works with juveniles, so that's why she asked that. You know, if
Okay.
you're like I said, that's something maybe you can ask. You know, maybe a connection right here. Well, she can have it come out and give your students, give your kids an outlet that they actually need. That will be very beneficial for them. So, hey, I hope y'all link. Nisi got to follow her on IG though, so that way you can be in contact with her and see how that goes.
Yeah, DM me. If anybody, feel free to DM me. No problem.
No freaky shit. Just
Hey.
no freaky business. Business people. She meant for business, you know, y'all. But Crush again, I want to thank you for coming. It's been a great episode, man. I make everyone promise to come back. So
You got me. As long
Okay.
as we just find another date that works for the both of us. I'm in.
Perfect. Great. All right. I always make everyone promise, you know, because when y'all blow up, I want to make sure y'all still thinking about me. That's why I be,
You know what I'm saying? You heard it here first.
when y'all, right. When y'all blow up, you know, she was here. You know, I can say that. But thank everyone for tuning in. Thank everyone that commented, watching, anyone listening. Thank you for listening. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. You know, I appreciate you, Crush, and every other guest that comes on, but I appreciate you. It's been another great episode, everybody. Peace.
That's it. Do everything with love, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah.